Alright, so today we're going to talk a little bit about this lock right here. I'll show you the back. This is the front. This is what's called a jimmy-proof lock. The reason it's called a jimmy-proof lock is if you were to stick a screwdriver or something in the door, you wouldn't be able to, jimmy it is why they call it that. Especially if you lock this inside tab right here, you would not be able to jimmy that like you would with a different style deadbolt or a doorknob or something to that effect. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this and how this comes apart. As you see, this would be the outside on my display here. You see that a key works on a rim cylinder, the same kind of cylinder that you'd use in a garage door or like an overhead sliding rolling door. You can see when I turn the key, what happens is it retracts the latch here. This would be the inside of my display, the inside of the door here. You see, if you turn this handle with your thumb, it opens up the door. You'll see this type of lock on a lot of older homes that are, pre-70s or something to that effect. You can, once you're inside the house, you can push this up, and that will keep people from being able to use a key on the outside or jimmy the lock. It's kind of like a night security type thing. When you're in the house, it'll prevent people from being able to get in, even if they were to pick the door or they had a key. So you can feel safe at night. Of course, people don't use these a lot anymore, but it was something that was used before, so that's why I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to show you how to take it apart and get to the cylinder in order to rekey this lock. So I'm going to use a drill just because I want to make this video short. Easy stuff to do. All you have to do is come to the back side here. This particular one has 3 screws. I've seen them with 4 screws as well, but either way, it's very easy to get this apart. I'm going to unscrew these 3 screws. Okay, now this inside section just slides right off. You can see on the inside of this, it has a little plus sign. That's where our tailpiece slides into. You can put it in vertically or horizontally, I guess, but typically it would be vertical. I'm sorry, horizontal. So next step would be to remove our rim cylinder. Rim cylinders typically are just held in by 2 screws, these 2 up here. Now this one has 2 extra screws down here at the bottom, and what these are for is to keep this interior plate that holds the rim cylinder to the door. It keeps this plate from sliding all around in a circle. That's what these 2 little screws are for. Most of the time it won't have these screws. I just put it on to make the lock operate a little bit better. Take these 2 screws out. Be careful, they're hot. I'm going to take these 2 screws out as well. Put those aside. Take my plate off. And my rim cylinder should easily come out of the door. Now, I can take my little beauty ring off here. Now I have my rim cylinder. Rim cylinders are very easy to rekey. The only thing you have to know about rim cylinders is sometimes this little C-clip in the rear of the rim cylinder needs to be bent out of shape to get off the cylinder. And once you return that C-clip onto the back of the cylinder, you want to use a pair of pliers and clamp it shut. That way it goes back into shape to hold this all together. So what I'm going to do is just put this all back together. We're going to pretend like I had this rekeyed, and we'll see how to reinstall it. It's basically doing the exact opposite of what you did to get it off the door. So I'm going to take my beauty ring, put it right back on my rim cylinder here, put that in the door, or my display is what I have here. I'm going to put the plate on that holds the whole thing together using the screws that are already with it. And also remember, if you ever see a rim cylinder that has some kind of funky keyway like a Sargent or Yale or something that you're not really familiar with, you can always swap out these rim cylinders with a brand that you prefer, like Kwikset or Schlage. And not necessarily a brand, but a keyway that you prefer. I swap them out all the time with Schlages or Kwiksets. It depends on what else is on the house. So I'm going to kind of loosely tighten this down. Then I'm going to put my two screws back that were already in the door. So let me loosen this up to get it all adjusted properly. Alright, screw this in. And tighten these screws so the cylinder is not loose. Looks good from the outside. Make sure it's all adjusted properly. Also, when you're installing a different rim cylinder than the one that was there already, you might have to cut this tail piece off with a pair of bolt cutters, or you can cut it some other way, but the screws that come with the rim cylinders also can be cut down to size. So don't feel like you have to use a big long screw. You can actually cut these down. So I'm going to put this whole Jimmy Proof lock back on. Again, it only has 3 screws holding it on. Making sure my tailpiece from my rim cylinder goes into that plus sign. And the back of the Jimmy Proof lock here. It's better not to use a drill for this, but I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. Alright, now that I've put everything back on, should work fine. And we're all done with our removal and our rekey of our Jimmy Proof lock. If you have any questions, please comment and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.